Hello, everyone. This is Mrs. Vialba, and this week I'm bringing you your SEL lesson on conflict and how we deal with conflict. When we talk about conflict, we're talking about the SEL competencies of collaboration. Again, the ability to work well with others and have positive communication. We want you to be able to show communication skills that you can work well with others and be able to resolve conflict in healthy and positive ways. Let's take a look at the definition of conflict. It's to come into collision with or disagreement, to be contradictory or in opposition, to clash. Conflict is inevitable, part of life. We all experience conflict, but how you can control the situation and how you can handle it is what we're going to look at. So we're going to take a short little quiz. Just grab a piece of scratch paper. For each of the next 6 questions, you're going to record the letter of the answer, which best describes how you would respond. This activity is going to help us find out what you do when conflict happens and how you might deal with it better. It's best not to overthink the answers, just first thing that comes to your mind, and the result will be for your own personal use. We're not going to share this. So the first question, you're eating lunch with a good friend who suddenly starts ranting about another student and why they don't like them. You totally disagree with their description of the other person. You, A, quickly excuse yourself. B, stay tight-lipped, an agreement. C, take them on, point by point. D, suggest you agree to disagree. Or E, tell them you couldn't see things more differently and politely explain why. The second question, you didn't sign up to help sell dance tickets during school lunch today because you have a big essay due tomorrow and wanted to work on it. Then one of the student council officers emails you directly saying they could really use your help, begging you. Do you A, delete the email and pretend you never received it? B, reply you'd be happy to help. You'll get your essay done somehow. C, reply with a detailed explanation of why you can't. D, say you're swamped, but maybe there's another way you can help. Or E, explain that, sorry, you really can't, but you'll be happy to ask around to see if somebody else can help. Number 3, with the permission of your parents, there's a clear understanding that your younger brother isn't to use any of your electronic devices without your permission. When you come home from school, he's sitting on the couch playing a game on your iPad. Do you A, keep your anger inside and go straight to your room? B, decide to give him 10 more minutes? C, go directly to him and tell him this is unacceptable and you'll tell a parent if he doesn't give it back? D, ask him why he's using your iPad when he knows the rule? Or E, tell him how you feel as if you can't trust him and ask him is there anything he can do that might change that? Number 4, you purchased 2 candy bars from the school concession stand. They each cost 75 cents. After paying for them with 2 $1 bills, you didn't get any change. Do you A, keep quiet? B, keep quiet. Surely the clerk doesn't need the extra headache. C, tell the clerk you should have received 50 cents in change. D, mumble, ugh, I didn't get my change and walk away. Or E, tell the clerk you believe there's been a mistake. And the last one, or actually number 5, the student assigned to the locker next to yours is really messy. At times, there are papers sticking out and some even fall onto the ground and the floor. Do you A, choose to fume quietly rather than possibly hurt their feelings? B, decide you're being too fussy? It's their business. C, the next time you see them, say you need to clean out your locker as soon as possible. D, tell the main office that someone could slip and fall on the papers. E, talk to them and ask if you can help with cleaning out the locker before something important gets misplaced. And finally, the last one, your group spent a lot of time on a project that you felt pretty confident was a solid A material. The teacher gave you a C. Do you A, just move on? It's not worth the hassle of saying something. B, dust yourself off and vow to do better next time. C, email the teacher and explain why you deserve better. D, email the teacher and ask what you needed to do to get a better grade. Or E, email the group to open the discussion on possible next steps. So as you tabulate your results, if you picked most of your answers as A, it says you're the avoider. You don't sweat the small stuff and you take time to think before you speak. However, remember, ignoring things isn't healthy long term. Speak up when it matters rather than letting things linger and turn into bigger problems. If most of your answers were B, then you would be the accommodator. You're kind and can easily see another's point of view, both wonderful traits. But remember, your point of view is really important too, and your needs can't be met unless others know they exist. If most of your answer were C's, the competitor, you're a winner and could probably be voted least likely to get taken advantage of. Good for you, but keep in mind that somehow convincing others you're right doesn't actually make you right. Try keeping a deep breath and listening more often. If most of your answers were D's, you would be the compromiser. You're extremely considerate and always willing to sacrifice for the common good, but don't forget that when everyone gives up a little, no one's really satisfied. And if most of your answers were E's, then you would be the collaborator. You're a good listener, a creative thinker, and a team player. You're confident in your own opinion. Try and be patient with those for whom conflict management doesn't come so naturally. So, looking at how you scored on that, what did you think of your results? How are your thoughts about dealing with conflict different after completing this exercise? Some students may have had 2 or even 3-way tie between the answers. Why might that have happened? Because remember, it does many times, it depends on the situation or the people involved. Here are some steps that can help you when trying to problem solve. You can calm down, being in a state of calm. If you're upset, emotions will be high and it will be difficult to resolve that conflict. Listen. There are 2 sides to every story, and people need to feel heard and acknowledged. 3, consider perspective. Understand what the other person is thinking and feeling. 4, ask questions. Clarify any questions you may have so you fully understand the other's perspective. 5, speak directly to the person involved. Do not send a friend or a messenger to speak for you. 6, use those I statements to share how you feel. Don't blame the other by saying, you always this, you always that. Instead, use I statements that tell somebody clearly how you feel. I feel upset because this. And 7, apologize when needed. If you are in the wrong, say you're sorry. 8, work out a solution. You may need to generate a few ideas until both of you can agree. Compromise if needed. When we talk about conflict and resolving conflict, it's important to remember violence and physical aggression don't solve anything. Any student who intentionally makes physical contact with another student needs to be reported to an adult. You can tell a school official or call the Safe School Helpline. So as a checkout question today, how will you apply what you've learned from this lesson as well as last week's lesson to improve your relationships with others? And just as a friendly reminder, social and emotional supports are available if you need them or want to talk. Every student is important, and we are here for students. The next couple of slides will just indicate how to contact school counselors in PHM or the right avenue if you need to talk to somebody. So again, we have our crisis resources here, calling 911, the National Suicide Prevention Line. And then if you want to report student concerns, we have the Safe School Helpline, again, available 24/7. And there's some different ways you can reach out there. Here's a list of our Penn High School counselors that are also available to talk to. And again, ways to contact those counselors through email, by calling, or through virtual or in-person meetings by appointment. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.